Alright, now it's time to finish this off. The most sporadically uploaded series you've probably ever seen. I'll make it 2 in 1 day, and then I'll miss it for half a week, and then I'll get, that one episode in, and then another 3 days, and then suddenly the next episode's a week later. Cause, what's consistency? I only have 100 subscribers. Not even that, I have like 40, so I don't really care about it yet. Tell me when I pass you, and then I might care. But until then, or, actually when I have things to record better games than this, because I mean, this was its charm pretty quickly, and considering how many other better games I could be recording for a Hot Wheels series if I had like a PS2 recorder, I think like at least 6. And that's just for the Hot Wheels series alone, let alone other games I'd want to play. Probably do a Battle for Bikini Bottom playthrough, even though I am terrible at platformers except for Sonic games. Maybe I ought to play a Mario game, huh? Yeah. Come on, everyone knows Mario games are easy. They're made for 6-year-olds. Of course, the 6th thing is kind of a cheat because 4 of them are just Hot Wheels games. So, and 5 because Turbo Racing is the thing that can be played on a PS2. So yeah. So I would need a memory card for that, but still. If I can get an HD capture device, I can probably get my hands on an old PS1 memory card, I would think. I did not look at the starting grid, but I can already see if Vanellope is gonna have a bad time catching Samurai Jack in points. Same with Ferb. And Samurai Jack is also alright, well. This is the ultimate wrench in the works. The 3 leaders of the point standings are starting dead last. That is something else. And Buttercup isn't too much further away. P8 and about to be P7 as she will outdrag her sister down the straightaway and probably get to at least P5 by the end of the lap because Jimmy Neutron and Phineas are in front of her. I do believe our leader is... No. I was gonna say I thought it was Wreck-It Ralph. No, it's Lilo and Stitch. They started at him. So they are leading, and I don't know what all Ralph can do to stop that. Dr. Duke is holding 3rd, and SpongeBob just taking 4th from Phineas. And Vanellope is the first to attempt to make some moves up the field. Running next to Isabella for 3 entire corners. SpongeBob's already about caught up to Doofenshmirtz. And Blossom also seems to have had a solid first lap of the race. She's gained 2 spots. About to be a 3rd one when she gets to any length of a straightaway, because Phineas is directly next in front of her. Directly next in front of her. That seems slightly redundant, me. But I digress. Alright then. Isabella has not started well. She is now in last. Byrne would not be proud. Lucky then that Byrne isn't here. For a show that always taught us the lesson that family meant no one gets left behind, you guys are really adamant about leaving them behind. I'm just saying. Well, You've dealt with Tom Kenny before in the past, Buttercup. I don't see how you can't do it now. You need to think about it. She's basically just passing her narrator. You know, PR already has taken a couple of points positions. About to take a couple more as well, I think. Some relatively easy targets ahead. Especially when they do that to each other. Dexter just tried to almost murder Blossom there. Blossom will finally clear Phineas, but I imagine within the next couple of minutes she'll just break even because Penelope's just gonna pass her. Samurai Jack will now get his way into a point scoring spot. You know, these three remain tightly packaged like a can of sardines. Never thought I would ever use a can of sardines analogy, but here we are. It's amazing to think to me, though, that around that corner in the F1 games, you can hit it at easily 170 miles an hour. And this car can't even do half of that, and a Corvette isn't exactly a, like, terrible car. I can't imagine it'd be too long before, Blossom is caught by the other Porsche driver. That was a nice mind blink there. Mine, thank you for blinking. Sort of has a wee bit more acceleration, but Buttercup has him in like literally every other field. Better top speed, better handling, and let's see here. I think pretty good brakes. Though there's a Doofenshmirtz in the way, so that's kind of, well, kind of delayed it. Not by much. So I mean, Doofenshmirtz does not cut her off. Yeah, she'll just get them both, actually. And poor Bubbles just been shuffled down. She might still score 1 point because of a... Okay, Ferb, what are you doing? Buddy, this is not how you win a championship, by sitting in 14th place. Granted, there's not really much that you can do to get her out of there because of that, but still. Here comes Penelope on the other Porsche in her area. Bubbles did eventually has now passed Phineas. I don't know if she can stay there, given that Ferb and Isabella are still behind her pretty close, but I don't really know if any of that matters. Samurai Jack and Dexter are about to square off. This bodes pretty well for Buttercup right now. If she doesn't take the points lead from this, she's only going to be a handful of points off. And if she can get any luck in the last 2 rounds, she could maybe still win. Any of Ferb, Penelope, Samurai Jack, and Buttercup can still win, but after this race, especially with the event that they had, I don't see it going well enough for Isabella to have a chance. Because I think she basically had to win to stay in mathematically. But she is very far from that as of now. Actually, now that I think about it, Isabella is not even close. It's Wreck-It Ralph, who is also doing pretty solid, but with Buttercup scoring more points, that doesn't really help him any. And Lilo and Stitch, I would like to assume be doing pretty well. I think this is like their second or third win, because, let's be honest, they basically already won this race. They're like 12 seconds ahead of Ralph. And then back to Ralph's another like 6 to Buttercup, so I don't really think that she's under much threat here. Okay, yeah, 13 seconds, that's a lot, yeah. And another, like I said, 6, so that's 5.8, but close enough to 6 away. Also managed to keep Penelope behind her down the main straight, surprisingly. She doesn't go madman mode into the first turn, which, not gonna lie, sort of surprises me. I would think she would want to, you know, hurry it up and make progress now, but I mean, I guess you can't score points if you don't have a car to finish the race with, so I can also see why she's taking her sweet time, unless she just simply doesn't have it in her, but I would feel like she can. This Porsche, despite being 40 years older than the one Blossom is in, is considerably better. About the same handling, but better acceleration, which, given the top speed of this thing compared to hers, you don't really need the kind of top speed that you can get in Blossom's car, because this thing gets close enough to it, and in like half the time. Blossom could have tried around the outside, but I don't really know, even if they did, if that would have ever worked. As SpongeBob and Doofenshmirtz remain, like, really close. Don't know where I was going there. Jack still can't get around Dexter. Like the irony that these two are battling each other and they were maybe the same person. Think about it, that's sort of weird. Technically though, the Powerpuff Girls were also partially made by this guy, so... I think he was a storyboard artist, if I remember right. Apparently SpongeBob ran into Doofenshmirtz at some point. Based on the damage there. Now, the final lap of the race, Lilo and Stitch have at least probably a 17-second lead on Ralph. Yep. Duh. And then it's probably another... Yeah, it's 4 to Buttercup, but Buttercup might be faster than Ralph, but we would need a 6-lap race for her to catch him. Just to even get to him, let alone pass. Penelope's finally decided to leave Blossom in the dust to do with her ex-boyfriend and a foolish warrior. I can't bother to do the voice right now. Even though I don't really do it very good to begin with, but that's not the point. Well, alright then, Jack. Samurai has run out of patience entirely. Now what transpired for this to happen that Bubbles lost 10th? Did Isabella find the Nitrox 2 button or something that isn't in her car, even though it looks like Arrow Flash with a spoiler on it, but... now poor Bubbles just having everything fall apart right underneath her. I think I know where this is going once you reach the chicane. Madman dive bomb into the turn, because that's the only way you can even hope to gain any more spots from this race. The next set of corners really aren't places to pass anyone, no matter how crazy you are. Unless, like, you know, your car is that much better. You can make it work into these two turns, but just, like, it isn't likely. Bubbles is, yeah, definitively lost that opportunity for a point. Well, after that experiment was a success. As like by 20 or so seconds, Buttercup almost caught Ralph, but by about 21 seconds I would say. Yep. Lilo and Stitch have won the race in Spa. Vanellope does not try and throw it in there, so she will not get any higher than 6th. With Dexter doing that, I don't really know what just happened. To yoink 8th, Blossom only being demoted down to scoring 2 points. Isabella does get a point, but like that, I don't know what that'll do. And then we've got these two yahoos coming in over a minute after. That's almost an entire lap. That's over half a lap after Lilo and Stitch do. So 2 rounds to go. Mathematically, if Samurai Jack does not score, anyone in the top 6 can win. If Vanellope wins and Samurai Jack gets 2nd, then it's over for Samurai Jack, and that's already the championship decided. Win will clinch. That's how that works. But yeah, as of now, though, it's looking pretty likely that we will have the last race decide the championship, so that's good. Because not all acts have been able to say that, so. In fact, I don't think the majority have. And then again, it's also true to have 1 too, so. Actually, it's more so in F1 because they use the 25, 18, 15 scoring system, not the 15, 12, 10, 8. So you get a couple of wins in a row and you'll have gained like 14 points, and that's like an entire race. Almost. If you get 3 wins in a row, and especially if the guy that you're fighting in the championship gets like second, third, that's literally an entire race that you would have to not score. So you gain like 6, 7 wins, and that's like, well, 8 wins is 200 points. F1 calendar's only got 21 races in it, so maximum of 525 points are on offer. Basically means you win 8 races, or 8 or 9 races, and you've pretty much won the championship unless you totally, like, mess up every other race. Well, it's a solid outlook for Vanellope, as she started in P3. Granted, Buttercup just launched off the line like a rocket ship, but and she is about to probably seize the lead, if I had to guess. Samurai Jack cannot catch the same luck and starts in dead last. So Samurai Jack needs to start passing people quickly, because otherwise his points will obviously be in immediate danger of not being his anymore. You could do with at least getting to the top 8 or 9. And I would also imagine if Lilo and Stitch can get around Vanellope, that definitely wouldn't hurt. Well, poor Blossom is not having a good round. Nor is Ferb. Ferb is probably about to be out of the championship running at the end of this round. SpongeBob is kind of got the oldies here between the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. Lilo has a solid run down the long straightaway here. How long, I have no idea, so don't ask. It's gonna take some craziness. And craziness is something Lilo and Stitch do not have, but Vanellope definitely did, and she just like mailed a ridiculous maneuver into what's it called? Into SpongeBob. That's the character. Come on now. Did I live under a rock or something? No. Within the matter of probably this lap and not much longer, I think Samurai Jack should be in like P9. Unless somehow Phineas gives him a run for his money, but I find that hard to believe. No, but Jimmy Neutron apparently can. And Jack is also kind of taking his sweet time. Buttercup gaining a commanding advantage, but in due time I feel that once Penelope gets around Isabella here, that will start to be eaten alive. So we have a very, we have a brunette podium right now. As well with the using the Countach's brakes to good effect rather than trying to eliminate someone, but Penelope instead panics and eliminates herself momentarily. It is 5 seconds to Buttercup from here. And off is past SpongeBob. How's the Samurai doing? Stuck on Doofenshmirtz. Yeah, this car is a weird one, that one. I don't even know what its specialties and weaknesses are compared to the other cars, because it's just like I don't know, I guess it's kind of the well-rounded one, but it's kind of definitely not master of any. That's loud. Willow making her presence known. Very, very blatantly known. And Buttercup is probably loving this right now. As is literally everyone else. Specifically, anyone else in the championship fight. Bubbles has passed SpongeBob. Actually kind of took me by surprise. I didn't think Bubbles would be passing anyone in this race. Anyone else, anyway. The Samurai is still about to try and be unstuck. Mickey will, he should kind of easily accomplish that one. Because they both mug Isabella down the straightaway, but they got a little rough into the first turn. Ralph is putting Isabella on pressure, under pressure now. I don't know if he can make anything out of that though from here. It did just now occur to me. Technically, these two don't know each other. Yeah, Lilo, you might have so you guys might have set the fastest lap just now, but you're like kind of too far from Buttercup for that to matter. Doofenshmirtz is just getting mugged on the second half of this race. Like 2 laps, he's lost like 5 places. No, 3. 4 actually, because it was Samurai Jack, then it was SpongeBob, and then Ferb and Dexter within a matter of, like within corners of each other, just like absolutely embarrassed him. And again, this would have been more ironic if Timmy Turner was battling Bubbles here, but not the case. It's a fun fact, Wreck-It Ralph and Vanellope were kind of late ideas. Originally the other two were going to be Mojo Jojo driving that Alfa Romeo Giulia that the governor dominated in like Act 13, I'd say, if I remember right. A weird sedan thing with so much like unusual amount of horsepower, and then Ben 10 was supposed to have the Porsche that Vanellope has. This has definitely changed the landscape of the championship for the final round here. I don't really know how competitive Ferb will be in it, though. I think Lilo has definitely kept herself, at least, within range, as Ralph just wrecks himself on Isabella up ahead. I don't know what happened there. I guess at least he waited until the end of the race to wreck it! But, that didn't do him any good. Okay, so yeah, the top 6 can all tie if Buttercup scores, or doesn't score. Otherwise, it's actually going to come down to those top 3, pretty much. Unless Lilo and Stitch wins and those 3 all start in the back. That's like the only way. But the odds of all 3 of them starting in a place where they can't reach the points, especially Vanellope, is not terribly likely. Pardon me. However, Buttercup has the advantage of this being her and her sister's favorite tracks. Or her sister's favorite track, Brands Hatch GP, especially from their crossbow days. Come here, tablet. Well, at least Phineas will be out of the way, as he starts in last. Well, that'll be interesting to see. Unfortunately, Vanellope cannot be a part of it, but we'll get to see Samurai, a foolish warrior, and Buttercup fight it out for the win of the championship. Where am I going? Drive's over there. I mean, we'll see what Vanellope can do to catch up to them, but I don't really think that that amounts to anything. However, Doof and Wreck-It Ralph may put a spanner in the works for the Samurai Warrior. Ferb could be a part of the championship, but it would actually require Buttercup and Samurai Jack not scoring, let alone winning, so how's it gonna all be started? Well, I mean, she hasn't really been passed, but I'd be kind of concerned if she had been. She hasn't made any ground up yet. Lilo and Stitch have already passed Dexter before we even got to the straightaway. These two are still dueling. think just confused themselves for a second. For some reason, my mind thought X was circle and circle was X. Oops, that is not how this works. So Buttercup will narrowly lead the first lap, but all it would take is Ralph to mess up turn 1 here and give Samurai Jack the win. Ralph will stay put for this affair. SpongeBob and Blossom are tangling into turn 2. And Blossom finds herself all the way on the curb, and SpongeBob will just take that and see you later, but Blossom ain't done yet. Now she is. I'm pretty sure. That acceleration is going to definitely keep Buttercup on edge down the straightaway. Though apparently it's been the turns in this race where Ralph has made his ground. I guess being a convertible as center of gravity is favorable for a track like this one. That's why the crossbows are so good around here. A lot of medium speed turns and not only one real straightaway, so for raw lap times, the crossbow is basically unmatched at Brands Hatch. And the second of 5 laps, and Samurai Jack seems to have made some ground, but it's not yet enough. He has cut the distance in half between him and Ralph, and therefore him and Buttercup, kind of indirectly, but like, even if you get to them, which looks like it's about to happen because Ralph totally screwed that up, even when Samurai gets to them, he does have to still pass them. That was a loud curb, thank you for that. Jeez, Dexter, you want to brake a little harder? I thought the smoke stream was supposed to stay and beat that, not supposed to be here. What in the world? Jack is just about within striking distance, but I don't really think he's gotten any closer since the end of the last lap compared to the end of this one. Now, if we look down, the other, 12 cars that are definitely in this race, and I'm just sort of ignoring them. We have Vanellope struggling to just, retain her pride, I suppose, and get into at least a scoring position. I think she will do precisely that here. Just insert it underneath Isabella's car and let's out accelerate her through the turn and take that place. Small cluster through turn 2, but Ferb has returned, I think, to where he started? No, he started 6th. He's actually gained 2 places. Leo, on the other hand, has gained 4. Penelope has gained 3. Isabella has lost 3. Probably 4, actually. Yeah, forgot. Penelope yoinked that place from her as we fade the move the camera away to someone else. The 2 X's over here are about to run each other off the road by the looks of it. as you return to the lead trio, and well, even if it would be a championship battle, Ralph has just kind of ignored the idea that that would be cool and just kind of sat there and wrecked it. Albeit maybe not, and not probably not even inadvertently. He just kind of is by just being there. So I think Ralph heard me or something. And just kind of gave Samurai a lot of room there. As Blossom and I think SpongeBob also kind of begin to mow the lawn over there. I imagine being on a hill like that, that's pretty hard grass to cut. Because Ralph's wanted to play with him, I guess, because now he just passes him back down the straightaway and also begins cutting the lawn. Jack, I can't imagine, is as amused. And now Ralph will find himself in the sand pit. And so, in relatively fitting fashion, Buttercup has done what 16 Angels couldn't even do. She rounds the last turn. We'll see Buttercup win her second Universal Championship, fittingly with a win as well in the final round, and equally fitting with second place in the championship, finishing second in the race. Unfortunately, the gods of the starting grid weren't too happy with Vanellope and kind of smited her. You know, such as have to show off with that fastest lap, like, great, but you guys didn't win. And so with that, come to the end of Act 15. I'd say that was a relatively successful act. A couple of good references in there for those who can catch them. That's for sure. And championship was really close between the top 6 racers for a pretty long time. Granted, no one else really had the kind of speed their cars did. SpongeBob and Isabella and occasionally SpongeBob and occasionally Isabella could hold their own in the front of the field, but they couldn't really run through the field in the way that, like, Vanellope and Samurai Jack could. Buttercup will not deny that this championship definitely came in with some help from the starting grid gods, who kept putting her in pretty favorable places a lot of the time. Or at the very least, no less favorable than what her rivals ended up with. So, yeah, next we'll have Act 16, which is kind of similar to Act 14. Like, it's even called 14, but better. But with some changed vehicles and will be a reordered, shorter championship, not 18 rounds. Of course, had to weaken 16 Angels down to a GT40 because he was literally destroying everyone, as you would probably remember. And had to give Ryan Storm has received the Supra that Danny would normally drive, but Danny's found a new toy in the Maserati here. I would give Ryan Storm the Corvette that did just win the previous act, but the idea is that Ryan Storm's in that car because it says the name of the company on it. And we do kind of joke that anything that Ryan Storm drives now, besides it isn't 24/7, is the car that just says Hot Wheels on it and is blue. So like the Hot Wheels car, Hot Wheels 500, and 24/7 does say it in pretty big red lettering as well, so 24/7 from beat that. So yeah, I guess it's had to be, you know, all for this episode of Universe Zero. So it's far from a normal upload time because I actually kind of slept before this, which is pretty rare for me to sleep, for me to actually fall asleep and then wake up before the sun returns to the sky. Yeah, it's 7:30 here and it still hasn't yet. Welcome to the middle of December, folks. So yeah. I will definitely not be staying up all day though, as it is because I only slept for 4.5 hours. So fast in the tournament and so fast in the